Hey, Greg, how are you?
Good. How are you, Stefan?
I'm doing very well. How is the chatbot space evolving as you see it, and so on?
Yeah, I mean, Salesforce is doing really well, particularly in the chatbot space. Adoption is up over 700% over the last year. So it's just really taking off. I think a lot of customers who had been considering, implementing a chatbot for their, say, customer service or sales organization or even marketing, and had it sort of maybe further down their roadmap,
Yeah,
sort of accelerated that timeline as a result of the pandemic. So I think that, plus we introduced some new features to the bot builder to make it a lot faster to deploy and get started with go live. So I'm just super excited about the enthusiasm there.
yeah, that's great. A lot of the people we've talked to have that same sort of experience, and even one of the speakers in our ecosystem panel, Seth,
Mhm.
he said that the amount of companies that need to now automate very simple things like, "Are you
Mhm.
open?" right?
Yes.
Just like shut up, and
Yeah.
it's really expensive to answer that call. Like it's like $4 a call or something like this. Maybe it's
Right. Exactly. And I think, from a design perspective, the thing that's really exciting there is that there's this potential to deepen, the relationship between the business and the customer. So like linguistically speaking, I always sort of think about how conversation is fundamentally about taking turns and exchanging back and forth. And that's really how you build a relationship with a person, essentially between people. And so if we can think of that kind of framework where a business is taking turns with the customer, they can, essentially bake their voice and tone, bake their customer or their business values into their interactions with their customer through a chatbot. So I think that it really not just like helps reduce that average handling time, but also I think it provides this unique opportunity to deepen again that relationship with the customer.
yeah. And one of the things that Rob Lawson from Google talked about is how Google's releasing these new features where you're going to be able to chat with businesses directly from like Google Apps and Google search result pages,
Mm-hmm.
and that conversation is always going to be persistent. And
Right.
so we're, I think, quickly running to a place where for a business, you better have good relationships with your customers.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that if anything, it puts a lot more emphasis on conversation design. Like the thing that comes to mind for me is like conversation design or conversational experiences are really sort of reaching that stage where graphical or UX design did about 15, 20 years ago, where
Okay.
Apple really showed the world how strong and good design can
Yeah.
differentiate your product from the rest. And
Uh,
that's really how they were able to make, say, the iPhone, for example, stand out in the smartphone market. I think
yeah.
now we are at the precipice of that for conversational experiences, where strong, good conversation design is going to be the thing that distinguishes your bot from the next one.
Got it. And so you would say that we're basically, this is like 2000, 2005 or
Yeah, 2005, I would say.
2005.
Yeah, it's like
And
15, 16 years ago. Yeah.
yeah. And then would you say, you said earlier that you guys have had like a really big increase, 700%.
Yeah,
Um,
over 700. Yeah.
or is most of it like really simple bots like FAQ or uh, lead generation and qualification?
So we actually, because of the way that Salesforce essentially sort of protects its customer data, we actually don't see into our customers' implementations without them granting access first. So I
Uh,
don't really have any sort of super detailed insights there. But what I can say is that one of the things that we introduced to the Einstein bot builder last October in beta is the Einstein intro template bot. So for anyone who's seen the presentation I'm about to give before or has seen Einstein Bot Builder before last October, they know that it was essentially just this blank canvas where you go in, you click new bot, and you start building stuff from scratch. It was just a blank sheet of paper. Now we have the intro template bot, which is essentially a it's a bot that's intended to sort of teach you how to use the Einstein bot builder, but for very realistic use cases. So we have a use case for lead generation. We have a use case for creating a case. We have a use case for checking the status of an issue or an order, all of which sort of revolve around key CRM jobs to be done for the customer. And so I think that in particular is what helps sort of essentially jumpstart a customer in their journey toward deploying a bot. And I was very excited to work on the conversation designs for those. So, I mean, admittedly, they're a little dry, but that's on purpose. It's meant to be something that allows it's like a starter, if you will, like mirepoix, if you're cooking something where, you know, you as a customer who are using the intro template bot can, you know, essentially customize it to your own voice and tone and change the text that's there. But the basic pieces, the usability of the conversation is complete.
Right. Perfect. So I think some of the people are asking if this is your actual presentation. This is just
we could.
Okay. So this is the warm-up.
And just chat for half an hour. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? So this is like a little preview, but I've been talking with a few other people like Hans and Dustin, and we're thinking about doing a little mini conference where it's just going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, 30
like
minutes,
that.
10 speakers. You come on, and it's, you know, having like me and Hans and you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, totally. I think that would be great. Let's definitely do that. I think and there's some fun potential for the name of the conference too, like conversations on conversation, like something there.
Mini conversations. I don't know. That's good though.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone's suggesting we do a Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. So we've done that before. I do have, so there is a conversation design Clubhouse club, which you can join. If you follow the club on Clubhouse, you'll find it right away. And then we'll add you to the club, or you can follow me and then go through the clubs that I'm part of. My handle on Clubhouse is just G Bennett, Bennett. We haven't done rooms in a hot second, but we're probably going to do another theme-based room very soon. But also anyone who joins that conversation design club can create rooms of their own and create discussions and conversations about conversations. So
it's hilarious. We're talking about talk.
Yes, exactly. It's very meta.
It's very, very meta. You know, I bet you that's one thing people in prehistoric times didn't think would happen.
I mean, and I think it's interesting, like how conversation itself like evolved as a social practice. Like you have language, which came out of this like basic sort of necessity to establish some sort of mutual understanding. And that like, I think what's interesting is like, we're now sort of reaching this point where we are very actively analyzing and questioning, like, what does it mean to have a conversation? So that we can teach it to a machine and have a machine adhere to those kinds of sort of precepts. But what I always find interesting is folks are like, well, we're trying to make bots human, or they're too human. And I'm like, no. It's not about trying to make the bot human. We want to make sure that everyone understands that this thing is a machine. But it's about taking a machine that essentially has the capacity to learn what we teach it and teach it how to adhere to human expectations for this behavior called conversation, which previously was exclusive to humans. Now conversation is possible with machines. And I think that's the part that's really exciting, is like really questioning, what does it mean to have a conversation? What are all the different permutations and variations around it? That's what I'm really excited about, where the field is going.
Right, you have to talk about talk.
Exactly.
And take it for granted, you know, like as an English speaker, you know, until you learn English, you don't think of prep, you know, grammar anyway. It's very natural.
Yes.
But we've hit the time. It's 12:30 now. And by the way, you're getting followers on Clubhouse.
Okay, all right. That was not like a planned plug. I'm just like, here's the plug.
Yes.
Awesome.
So without further ado, Greg, I'll let you take it away. And in the last 5-10 minutes, I'll jump on and we can take questions from the audience and do some Q&A. And then we'll go from there. Awesome.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen.